is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. It's time for Casey's Take on Sports, presented by Dickson Medical Associates. Here with the man who always has a take, your host, Casey Patrick.
Good morning. How are y'all doing? I know it's getting hot outside. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Of course, Monday was Memorial Day, so a day to think about everybody that has passed away and was a service member. So a lot of things to be thankful for over the past few days. But it's getting warm outside. I hope everybody's got their sunscreen. It's getting hot. I know everybody's going to spend a lot of time outside, but we got some sports to talk about. So our first take is going to be it's Warriors versus Celtics, but I'm going to take Warriors in 6. Second take, we're going to get into the Vols or SEC champions. Third take, coaches, NCAA football coaches against the NIL. And then, of course, we're going to finish it off with some high school sports. Not a lot of high school sports going on, but that's what we're going to finish it off with. So y'all stay here with us, and let's get on into the first take. When I was setting up what I wanted to talk about this morning, I was originally just going to do Warriors versus Celtics, and the more I thought about it, the more I kind of just figured it would be Warriors in 6. And to be quite honest, my first thought was Warriors in 5. So if you're a Celtics fan, I think I'm being generous. Now I don't have a rooting interest. I was a bandwagon fan a few years ago for the Warriors, but I haven't really watched them much since. But I mean, y'all know I love Grant Williams. I mean, I don't have anything against the Celtics, but I just I don't think they'll be able to beat the Warriors. And before I go on, there's another thing too, and I don't know if any of y'all seen this, but I think it's on Instagram. There's this little dog, and somebody sets up these like trash basket or waste baskets or whatever. And one of them I have one team on them, and the other basket has the other team on them. And they throw this little, I don't know, it's like a fake plastic basketball, and the dog jumps up and he hits it, and the ball bounces off the wall or whatever into one of these trash baskets. And you got to watch it. It's hard to explain, but it's really cool. Just take my word for it. Anyway, the dog made it into the he just bumped the ball into I think it was the Warriors basket 4 times and the Celtics baskets 2 times. So even the dog agrees with me. But to actually talk about basketball and to get into it, I wanted to bring that up. I know that was awful, but I had to say something about that because it is fun to watch. But to actually get to the basketball part of it, I think the Celtics are a fantastic basketball team. I think they're extremely talented. I mean, I like Tatum. I like Jaylen Brown's a heck of a basketball player. I love Grant Williams. Robert Williams is one of the best defenders in the entire league. The Celtics can play basketball, but the Warriors have been here. They don't have Kevin Durant anymore, but they've been here. Clay he shows signs of being, 2017 Clay. I think the Warriors they're much more experienced. I think they're better. I think they have more physical talent. I think Tatum is probably the best player when he steps on the court. But I think experience is something to be said because not a lot of teams get to this point in the season. And the Warriors have been there a lot. And that's a really good basketball team. And all they seem to do is win when their guys are out there and healthy. So, again, like I say, I'm going to take Warriors in 6. I think the Celtics could win this series. I would not be surprised if the Celtics win, but I'm going to take the Warriors to win only because of experience. Now, I would love to see Grant get a ring. I would love to see Grant get a ring, and I'd love to see Twitter as he blows up and gets his ring. Of course, y'all know I follow a lot of volunteer fans, so just getting to see what they think about him winning and stuff like that. It's just fun to keep up with. But if I had to bet, I'd take the Warriors. That's going to be it for my first take, and we're going to do a little promo read for you. And of course, Casey's take. We're happy to have DMA as a sponsor for us. But Casey's Take is brought to you by DMA Orthopedics and Dr. Anthony Tropiano. Dr. Anthony Tropiano provides patients with prompt, effective treatment using the best technology available and in a manner that is compassionate and understanding of their needs. Dr. Tropiano is a board-certified orthopedic surgeon. Call 615-441-4522 today. That's 615-441-4522 today. Where's the number? There we go. Give them a call.
Here at Dickson Medical Associates, we've got you covered from neck to toe. Our orthopedics team offers services in sports medicine, foot and ankle reconstruction, spinal surgery, and more. We also have in-house imaging and physical therapy. Dickson Medical Associates, we specialize in what moves you.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Now, here's my second take. And I probably should have started the show off with this because I might have a little bit more energy for this one. The Vols are SEC champion for the second time in just a few months as well, which, of course, anybody that hadn't been living under a rock, you've seen the basketball championship and now the baseball championship. Tennessee won both in the tournament. I think it's a huge moment, not just because it's a championship and not just because it shows the entire athletic department getting better. I think it's just, for me, what you see is the last 25 years. I don't want to say 25. The last 15 years for most of these sports have been, up until recently, for most of these sports have been kind of rough. Now, the last few years as a Vols fan, if you take football out of the equation, they've been extremely successful, and they've been a lot of fun to watch in all the different sports. And the girls' basketball team is going to be back next year with the type of talent that can go to a Final Four, Elite Eight. Even the soccer team, didn't they win a region champ or some kind of deal? It seems like athletics all across the board in Knoxville are on the rise. Or, if you're Tennessee baseball, I don't know if you can rise anymore. They are the most dominant team in college baseball right now. Now, I'm not going to sit here and have a conversation over who may or may not be the best team of all time. I don't really care about that. That some 1980s Omaha team, I don't care. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is the 2022 Tennessee Volunteer baseball team, and they're pretty darn good. They're really fun to watch. They do a lot of things really well. They play defense really well, and that's something that sometimes it kind of goes forgotten. You think about these really great teams that are fun to watch. You've got some great arms. You got some power bats. You got some guys at the top of the lineup get on base. These guys play defense too. There are some guys like I think it was Stevenson earlier this week, Seth Stevenson. He hit a ball like 440 foot. I mean, it just jumped off his bat. I get they're using BB core bats, whatever. It's not wood. I don't care what these guys can do. Jarrell Ortega, his OPS is over like 1,100 this year. That's insane. He's a second baseman, and he bats, I think, sixth in the lineup. Luke Lipsius, he gets a stolen base every other game, and he's the first baseman. These guys are just breaking the mold. And, Drew Gilbert winning tournament MVP, the home run, the bat flip, all of it. And these pitchers, Chase Dollander was named SEC Pitcher of the Year. And he's drawn a few comparisons to Jacob deGrom, which is really neat because as a Braves fan, I've been watching deGrom just dominate for the past 5 or 6 seasons. I know he's been playing more than that, but the last 5 or 6 years he's been probably, when healthy, definitely one of the best pitchers in baseball. So if you're mentioned in the same sentence with him, that's pretty good. But watching those guys, Tennessee never trailed. They never trailed. They were only tied for, I think, seven innings throughout the entire tournament, and that's mainly 0-0 tie when the game starts. That's nuts. I mean, mathematically, that almost doesn't even seem very plausible. Like the odds of that happening don't really seem all that high. So Tennessee being able to go out there and continue to dominate, and I know, listen, I know what matters is in Omaha. And there are going to be Vanderbilt fans that watch this. They're going to talk about their national championships. I don't care about your national championships. What I care about is the fact that I'm a Tennessee fan. And way too many times as a Tennessee fan, I've seen teams that wear the big orange tee on them fall apart when it matters or play like crap the entire year anyway. And this team has just been relentless the entire time. I know they lost a series to Kentucky in the middle of the year. Kentucky's not an awful baseball team, as much as it just pains me to say that. Kentucky, I don't know if they got in the tournament or not, but they should have if they didn't. But other than that, Tennessee has not lost a series all year long. They never trailed in the tournament, outscored their opponents a gazillion to like 7 or whatever it was. It's just really fun as a Tennessee fan to, I don't want to say expect, because as a Tennessee fan, you have to expect the unexpected. But it's really been fun to have a team that feels like you can kind of depend on them. You know when you're going to turn the TV on, you're going to see a baseball game. You're going to see a good team play good baseball. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean win every time. There's a lot of really good teams out there, especially in the SEC. There's good teams everywhere in both divisions. Even the bad baseball teams are still better than 98% of the teams in the country. They just play in the SEC where everybody else is really good. So Tennessee's not, they're not going to win every game. I didn't think they were going to win every game. They tried to. I mean, they were close. I think they're 53-7 now or something. But every single game I feel like that I've been lucky enough to be able to watch, Tennessee has played a pretty good game. Even the ones that they may have lost, they still pitched well. The relief pitching wasn't bad. The bats may have, got a little stingy here and there. But you can't bat 400 all year long. You just can't. But Tennessee, more times than not, has went out there and they've played really good baseball. And that's something that, as a Braves fan, is quite frankly fun to watch, because the Braves, if you're a Braves fan, just don't watch them right now. I mean, just don't watch them. So that's what Snicker was talking about last night in the postgame presser. He said, we just can't play baseball like this and win. Well, no crap, Brian. Good job, coach. I didn't know it took a engineer to figure that out, but regardless, I'm not going to talk about the Braves. We don't have enough time to get depressed this morning. Hey, Vols are SEC champs, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into my third take. We're going to talk about coaches versus the NIL. So stay right here. This is more or less just because I'm going to be really honest. I was trying to think of a third thing to talk about, and it wasn't going to be the Titans. And I didn't really want to talk football because it's all OTAs. And who was I think one thing I was thinking about talking about was which coach was it? I think it was the San Francisco coach. He threw a little or no, it was LaFleur. It was the Packers coach. He was mad because all the veterans didn't show up to voluntary workouts or the OTAs, what are you going to call them? I didn't want to talk about that either because we've got plenty of time to talk NFL. It's going to be the summer. There's not a whole lot going on other than baseball. So what I did want to talk about, Shane Beamer said something about the NIL has become pay to play. Now, before I get too far into this, I'm going to say a few things, and here's how I feel. If you don't think I'm right, I don't care. Follow me at CVP51. Tell me I'm wrong. Everybody else does too. Get in on the act. It's fun. But the NIL is completely chaotic right now. I get the fact that there probably needs to be some sort of there needs to be rules put in place. The problem is I don't want the NCAA to do the rules, right? The NCAA is one of the most money-hungry, greedy organizations that has ever existed. They have done nothing but screw kids since their first opportunity to do so. And the fact that these coaches want to be second in line to be like, oh, I don't like this, blah, 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 blah. You're talking about amateur, professional. Shut up. Beamer's another one of the coaches that just left one program to go to another for more money. And sure, it's a better program. It's a step up. Great for him. So my issue is everybody seems to be mad with the kids that they're making money, not how they're making the money. Now, the smart people, you'll see them say, oh, this has become chaotic and it shouldn't be pay to play. And that's their nice, what's the word? I don't know. That's their way of putting it, that they don't like the fact that these kids are making money. Now, I don't think an 18-year-old should be making $2 million a year. But I also don't want to pot me kettle. I don't want to listen to these coaches that have been doing this for years tell everybody else how bad the kids are because they're taking money. Shut up and get over yourself. There definitely should be rules. It should not be like it should not be the way it is. And there should be things that are put in place to keep things from happening where you're giving kids an unresponsible amount of money. But quite frankly, I don't want to listen to coaches tell me what they think anymore. I don't, especially after Nick Saban, what was it last year? He was bragging about how, Bryce Young's going to make 7 figures this year, and he thought he was all sly and cute when he said that on TV. Well, now you got other players making pretty good money for other schools, and it's become a problem. You can't hide behind your little Dodge Charger dealership. Shut up. My issue is these old folks that already have a lot of money complaining about kids that making a few extra dollars. Don't get me wrong. I know there are some kids out there that are going to make an absurd amount of money, and there definitely needs to be something put in place to where these kids don't put themselves in bad situations with the money. I agree with that wholeheartedly. There probably should be a little bit of rules here and there. There should definitely be financial help for these kids. And when I say that, I mean like financial planners, people to help them learn how to use their money. Maybe that should be a class they have to take. If you're making NIL money, then maybe you should have to take an additional course in college to show you how to use your money. Maybe that's a rule right there you could use. But having people sit here and tell you that it's wrong that you're making money, it's like everybody wants to be capitalism in this country until something they don't like. And now all of a sudden you got a bunch of communists, right? That's not how this works. If you're going to make money, you ought to be okay with everybody else making money. These kids are putting their bodies on the line more than anybody else. Sure, these coaches, they have a lot on the line as well, too. A bad season, they may never be a coach again. If you coach that poorly, you probably shouldn't be a coach. But these kids are going out there and they're actually putting their body on the line. So the fact that you have all these other people that are saying, I don't like it, and you know what really bothers me is these old folks on Facebook. And I say old and I mean it. And I don't mean to be discriminatory, but it's always older folks. They want to throw a little hissy fit, and they'll say something like, oh, well, these kids should just be happy they're getting a college education. No, they really shouldn't. Has anybody ever seen the brain damage that some of these players go through? Have you seen the stories of some kids who they're paralyzed in a football game because they go to make a tackle? And those kids, this was before the NIL. A lot of them weren't making a single dime. And now you have some kids that they're going to grow up. They're going to have concussion issues. They're going to have brain injury issues. Other kids that are going to be hurt for the rest of their life. I would hate to be an Alabama offensive lineman. Your knees are never right again. That's part of the problem in their draft inspection. But I went way too far. I went over my time limit on that. I had to say all that. I had to get that off. Plus, we don't have a lot of high school sports, so that'll be fine. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to our second break before I pop a vein or have a stroke. So, thank you.
At Dickson Medical Associates, your health is our number one priority. With over 40 providers, our goal is to bring excellent, convenient, and comprehensive medical care to our community. Dickson Medical Associates, a destination for care.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Now, and don't forget, look down low right there, DMA Casey's Take. It's brought to you by DMA Orthopedics and Dr. Anthony Tropiano. Dr. Anthony Tropiano provides patients with prompt, effective treatment using the best technology available and in a manner that is compassionate and understanding of their needs. Dr. Tropiano is a board-certified orthopedic surgeon. Call 615-441-4522 today. That's 615-441-4522. Yeah, I'm getting better at that. I need to memorize it. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? If I don't look away. I know y'all can tell I'm looking away, but listen, you're getting a lot of sports knowledge in these shows. I'm not good at everything. I'll get better at it. But before we get too far into the high school sports, I got to bring something up. I got a buddy of mine bowls on Wednesday Night League. His name's Brent Johnson, and about a month or two ago, he asked me. He said, you know, I'm a Georgia football fan. I said, yes, sir. And he said, well why don't you give me and Coach John Patterson a shout out on your show? Because we love the show. And, of course, our Bulldogs won a national championship. I told him, I said, all right, I'll think about it. Well, Brent, Coach Patterson, here's your shout out. I'm not going to shout out the Bulldogs because I hate them. I hate the University of Georgia, and I don't care anything about Georgia unless it's Atlanta baseball. But I'll give you your shout out, Brent and Coach Patterson. I hope you're enjoying the show today. But to heck with Georgia. And I'd have said other words too, but this is a family show. But anyway, there's your shout out. So I don't be mad at me. He told me it was rude last time he saw me because I hadn't done it yet. Not as rude. But we're gonna talk a little high school sports. Of course, spring fling was last week. We should have everything in last week's paper with all the kids that participated at the state tournament. Had a tennis doubles duo there for Creekwood and two track and field athletes for Creekwood. Had a track and field athlete for Harpeth. Two track and field athletes for Cheatham County Central. And Harpeth Soccer, which that was, I got to tell you, I only got a few minutes, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about that game. Harpeth Soccer lost to Merrill Hyde in the quarterfinals of the TSSAA state tournament. And I don't know if I've ever seen a better soccer game ever. on TV or in person, which, of course, y'all know I don't watch a lot of soccer on TV. But watching the game in person, I mean, it was Merrill Hyde scored first off of an own goal. Harpeth was able to tie it. Merrill Hyde scored at the end of the first half, and then Harpeth scored the only goal in the second half. So they went to overtime, played 2 overtime periods, and nobody scored, and then went to a shootout. And I'm just gonna tell you right now, that was yeah, it got me pumped up. I mean, my blood was flowing watching that. I really enjoyed watching that shootout. I hated that Harpeth came out on bottom of that. Nobody really deserved to lose that game, and both coaches told me that. I forget the Merrill High coach. I forget his name right now, but Harpeth coach Lou Jenkins. I talked to him after the game, and he was kind of let down that they lost, but that experience of getting to the state tournament, and I told him, I said, once you get it once, man, it's like you get a taste of it. You want to be back every year, and I think they might be back next year. They got a heck of a team, but moving forward, there's just really not a lot going on other than football. We're going to have a lot of, especially I know a lot more of the camps in Dickson. There's a lot of camps going on. Later this week, I'm going to go visit Dickson County High School. Coach Erin Webb, the lady Cougars basketball coach, she's having a special needs camp over there, which I believe began 10 o'clock this morning and goes through the rest of this week. And then they're going to have their annual Lady Cougar basketball camp, and that's going to be next week. So we're going to have some photos of both of those camps in the Dickson Post. Everybody and their mother's having a camp. I mean, you could probably find a underwater basket weaving camp somewhere. If you want to get your kid out of the house, you don't want to find a babysitter, you can find something to go do. There's a million things to do, especially in Dickson. Like I said, I don't really know a lot about Cheatham, but I'm sure there's something out there for those kids as well. So just keep your eyes out. There's going to be something to do. But the one thing that is coming up is football. It is football time right now. And I feel god awful for those kids out there running around right now. It is at least 90 degrees. The humidity is like 147%. I don't know if that's real or not. I exaggerated that, but y'all know how hot it is outside. The humidity is like trying to breathe when it's hot outside and there's already a blanket on top of you. But hopefully everybody stays safe out there this summer. Everybody stays cooled down because it's going to be hot. But y'all, football's right around the corner. Football is right around the corner. I can't wait. Middle school, high school, college, professional, all of it. I'm ready to watch some football, and I know y'all are too. But thank y'all for watching the show. Brent, congratulations on your shout-out, and Coach Patterson. But y'all make sure and come back and check me out next week. And follow me or not, I don't really care. I think I'm just supposed to say at CVP51 on Twitter. You can follow me or not. It doesn't matter. But if you want to, follow me on there. Give me a hard time. But like I said, y'all stay safe out there. Stay cool. And come back next week. Check out the show. Have a good evening.